Today we have the Sunstate Showdown between Florida and Florida State. Your Gators come in ranked number 7 in the nation. They currently sit at a 9-2 record, while Florida State comes in sitting at 3-8. They're having a really tough season. They're looking to spoil the end of Florida's season. I'm LDJ11 and welcome into the Coach KJ Carousel Dynasty. Let's get this one underway as Florida State kicks it down. It's David Hester on the return, and for some reason he's very shiny. Look at that, number 43 I think that is for Florida State's also shining bright tonight. I don't understand it. Jack Garola is your quarterback. He's had a pretty solid season. Too many turnovers if I'm being honest, but you know, that's something that's also on me as the guy controlling the team. Looking at injuries, Florida's healthy. Florida State's missing 3 guys. They're already a weaker team than us, so that's going to hurt them even more. I think we should win it as Emmanuel Henderson is shining bright like a star, and he takes that for a first down, and he picks up 14 yards. He is one of our studs on this offense. You also got to shout out Harrison Wallace III. He's been really good lately. Across the O-line, it's senior Austin Barber, who's been really good for us, and we're really going to miss his presence next season as he only has this game and the bowl game left to go for us, because we have no shot at making the college football playoff. This is the final season of the 14 playoff in Dynasty. Next year, you'll get a 12 team, as it's going to be 3rd and 6 following that TFL. Jack Garola is going to end up having to pass this. He fakes a quick screen. He throws it out there. That's David Hester getting a first down, and Morrissey's across midfield fighting ahead. He's down to about the 46-yard line. He picks up 18 yards on that play. Guyassi Blanks is in the game in the backfield. We throw it, and I don't know where that was going. There was 3 people over there, and he couldn't find one of them. It's read option, and Jack Garola pulls it. He can't quite get the edge, but that's a solid 4-yard pickup. That'll give us 3rd and 6, which is pretty manageable for this team as Garola stands in the pocket, takes a hit, and he fumbles the ball. Farmer picks it up and gets out of there. Can anybody catch up to him? He's at the 20, the 10, the 5, and that's going to end up being a Florida State touchdown. Their defense gets them on the board first today. It's 7-0. Let's see if our offense can answer that colossal mistake by Jack Garola. Hinder gets the reception and fights ahead, and he got 21 yards. He was hoping to break out of that scrum and get a touchdown, but he couldn't quite do it. Quantel Johnson's going to get a carry on the next play, and he's going to take that for no gain. He was hit pretty much immediately. Coming out here on 2nd and 10, Garola's going to throw a screen out there. That's Harrison Wallace III making the play, getting the first down, stepping back. He might go all the way as he's down to the 30, the 20, the 10. He's gone. That's a touchdown. Florida's going to tie this one up on a beautiful step back by Harrison Wallace III. He made a couple guys miss, and he got into the end zone. That's exactly what we need. AJ Duffy's Florida State's starting quarterback, and he's been quite disappointing. He has more interceptions than touchdowns, and when you're at almost 20 interceptions, that's pretty disappointing. They're going to pitch it to Osai on first down, though, and he's going to take that for 18 yards. Looking at Florida's defense, Justice Boone and J.J. White, along with Chris McClellan, have made up a strong D-line for this Gators defense. Scooby Williams up the middle has been an absolute beast for us. And in the back end, it's been our safeties really stepping up. Rashad Johnson, Miguel Mitchell, and Akeel Wesley has actually been coming on of late. So our defense is looking quite good and quite feisty. A.J. Duffy has to pass on 2nd and 10. He's tucking the run, and he gets hit and goes down. They're going to call that a sack for this Gators defense. It looks like Kewan Haas is going to get credit for that one. So now it's 3rd and 10, and Duffy's going to have to pass here. He throws it, and he just misses his man. He had somebody wide open. That gives the Gators the ball back right about a 25-yard line or so, and Garola takes a shot, and that's an incompletion. It could have been intercepted. 36 should have held on to that one for the Seminoles. Quantel gets a carry right up the middle, and what a run that was. That's 17 yards. He wasn't really touched. I wish he had some more top-end speed, though. That's my biggest complaint about Quantel Johnson, as he gets decked and loses a yard on first down. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 11, and we're in the pistol looking to pass with Garola, and he throws it to Harrison Wallace III on a stick route. He's going down the sideline after breaking a tackle and picks up 24 yards. So we go back to the ground game, which has worked okay so far, as Quantel gets a carry, and he goes for 3. Bringing up 2nd and 7, Guyassi Blanks checks into the game, and Jack Garola's going to pull it on this read option and stiff arm the safety, and he might actually get into the end zone on this. And Garola dives in. He does. That's some style points, making this a 14-7 ball game. Your Gators are starting to pull away, and as you can see, the reason we don't have a hope, I don't think, at going to the SEC championship is Alabama's up 14-0 early in the Iron Bowl. And as you all know, if Alabama wins the Iron Bowl, we have no shot at going to the SEC title game. We needed Alabama to lose it, and it looks like they're up and dominating early. I'm not surprised. Auburn's not the greatest team. So it's 3rd and 9 now for the Seminoles. Duffy looking to pass, standing in the pocket, throws it underneath, and that's Scooby Williams who picks it off. He's at the 20, the 10, 5, and touchdown Gators. They're going to extend this lead up to 21-7. What a play by this defense. It looks like the Gators are going to blow out the Seminoles, which is kind of predictable with the records we both had coming into this one. And you know what? We're okay with that. We need to get our backups some reps. As we start pulling away in this game, you're going to hear me talk a little bit more about the possible future of some of these players on this team. You know, we're at the end of the season, so the rumor mill's starting to heat up, and we got some juicy ones for you. As we get a sack with Justice Boone to end the first quarter, that's a 21-7 Gator lead after one. Jack Garola has the ball after we get it back, and he slides down going for 9 yards. That's going to set us up with excellent field position on second down, and we run a screen to Quantel Johnson, who makes the reception, gets the first down, jukes back inside, and has a nice 11-yard reception right there. So we go to the read option game with Garola, and he's going to slide down after picking up 7. We're moving the ball easily on this drive, and this defense is looking like butter out there. We're able to cut through them just as slick as can be. But it's third down now. We need a conversion here, and we're going to throw a screen out there, and that's intercepted. That's a huge mistake by quarterback Jack Garola. He's good for 1 pick a game at least. That's probably one of the most frustrating things about him. So the Seminoles take over with a chance to get themselves back in the game, and we should have picked it off right there. We had our chance. So now they're going to send Coleman in motion across the formation, run triple option, and they get the pitch out there to Lomax. He has some space, and he's going to push ahead and pick up a first down for the Seminoles. This is their opportunity to get back in the game. They come out in the gun. They're going to hand it back to Lomax again. This time, though, he's hit by Miguel Mitchell and Scooby Williams. He has nowhere to go. That brings up 2nd and 9, and he gets another carry. This one goes for a pretty solid 7-yard pickup. They're going to call it 3rd and 3, though. So they go with speed option. Lomax gets the pitch. One-on-one. He gets knocked out of bounds by Rashad Johnson. They say he picks up just a yard, but it's 4th and 1, and the Seminoles go for it. Lomax can't get the first down, though. That's a big tackle by Miguel Mitchell. So the Gators take over right around midfield. That was an incompletion. Garola luckily got it off. We go to Quantel Johnson on the next play, and that's a beautiful run. I mean, it only went for 7 yards, but he followed his blocks, cut it right, got a good gain. So on 3rd and 3, we're looking to pass, and that is a whole shot to Harrison Walls, the third, down the sideline. That sets the Gators up with a first down at about the 12-yard line. So now Garola's looking to pass, and he just missed on that one. We had 2 guys open right in the same area there. So we go to Quantel on 2nd down, and Quantel runs through a man and gets a 1st and goal at about the 1 or 2 yard line. They're going to send Hester in motion, who is our 3rd string tight end currently. Quantel Johnson gets the carry, and that was ugly, but he got in. Touchdown, Gators. We're going to take a 28-7 lead in this one, even with our embarrassing turnover on that last drive. So can the Seminoles answer, or does it already look like the Gators are putting their foot down and taking control of this one? Let's find out. It's 2nd and 3. Duffy looking to pass, steps up in the pocket, chucks it deep, and I don't know how he completed that, man. That was luck. That wasn't skill. He just chucked it up there, and it fell to his receiver in triple coverage there, man. Duffy, though, on a speed option, has nowhere to go, so he only picks up 1. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Seminoles. And I mean, it was a triple option, not a speed option there, as Duffy's going to pass. He throws it underneath the halfback Osai, who breaks the tackle and gets the first down. He's all the way down to probably the 30-yard line, I would say. If I had to guess, that is where they snap it from, and Duffy pulls it on a read option, and he gets stuffed. Shamar James, our senior linebacker, makes the play. So it's 2nd and 12 now following that loss. Osai gets a little check down, breaks another tackle at Keywan Hawes, and goes down. That's a 6-yard pickup, but they're still in a 3rd and 7. So the Seminoles come out in 5 wide, and Duffy's looking to pass. He gets hit just as he releases it. That fell to the ground, incomplete. So the Seminoles are forced to attempt a field goal that's up, and they hit it, making this score 28-10 with 1:30 left till halftime. Let's see if the Gators can answer and maybe pull ahead a little bit further, as David Hester's going to take that return from about the 8-yard line, and he has a gap going down the sideline. He's at the 50, the 40, the 30. There is a flag, though. He might go all the way. It's probably coming back, though. He did get in, I believe, but due to that flag, it's all going to come back. They call clipping. What a big mistake for this Gators special team unit. That's our center, Caleb Kirby, seen out there playing special teams. That's amazing. But we still have 1:17 left till halftime, and we get a deep shot to Emmanuel Henderson to begin the drive following that penalty. He's all the way down to the 30-yard line and picks up 46 yards. So Jack Garola throws a screen to Harrison Wallace III. We're in good position. We lost 2, but we don't need to rush here. We have to drain the clock to make sure the Seminoles don't get the ball back as we take a deep shot. Harrison Wallace III couldn't come down with it in one-on-one coverage there. So now it's a big 3rd and 12. We have to be smart and try to not force it too much, and that's exactly what we did. We are so lucky that didn't get intercepted, and we even have a chance to attempt this field goal. Mahalik kicks it, it's up, and it's good. He drills it. Gators take a 31-10 lead. It looks like the Seminoles are in pretty good field position to try and get a deep shot. However, we pick it off with Akeel Wesley. So let's see if we can take it back to the house. That's a nice cut. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. Akeel Wesley might go all the way just before halftime. He takes a pick 6 on a Hail Mary back to the house. Gators extend their lead up to 38-10 at halftime. What a play to end the half by Akeel Wesley, man. This team is dominating the Seminoles, just as you'd expect this year. So it looks like the Seminoles get the ball to begin the second half, of course, and it's just going to be a touchback. Nothing exciting to see here. But let's take a look at our halftime stats. And as you look at the halftime stats, you can see we are absolutely dominating the Seminoles. They can't do anything compared to what we're doing. They have just 43 yards passing to our 217. We have 84 yards on the ground to their 50, and we have 1 less attempt, and we also have 2 scores. We do have 2 turnovers, just like the Seminoles, but clearly we've capitalized when they haven't. So we're controlling time of possession. It's just the Gators' game to lose. This looks like it's going to be a blowout. Now let's look at our recruits that committed. Khalif Ramsey, a 4-star quarterback, the number 19 QB in the nation, soft committed to the Gators. Nigel Chukwuelu, a wide receiver, soft committed to Penn State, but we're going to keep going after him. We just don't have a lot of time to flip him, so hopefully maybe we can change his mind before. He'd be a great addition to our team. The Seminoles are on 2nd and 12, throwing a screen to Lomax to begin the second half here. He picks up 8 yards. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 4. Coleman comes in motion, and they hand it off to him on a sweep, and he barely gets the first down. Nathan Osborne couldn't pull him backwards. It looks like he ended up shaking up on the play. We'll see if he's able to return for the Seminoles at all. A.J. Duffy, though, on first down, has to try to tuck it and run, and he can't go anywhere. That's a sack for Chris McClellan, dropping him back to a 2nd and 15, and they throw a screen to Lomax, and McClellan gets knocked off of him due to the blockers in our Gators defense. He ends up getting 10 yards and going down, bringing up a 3rd and 6 for the Seminoles. Duffy stepping up, moving in the pocket. He throws it, and that's B.J. Bradley King. If anybody's watched this series, you'll remember him. He actually transferred away from the Gators. He should have been our 3rd tight end this year, maybe even our backup, but he transferred to the Seminoles, of course, our hated rivals. So it's nice to see him making plays. I just don't want to see him doing it against us. So that's going to make a pretty good segue into talking about some of our potential offseason news. There's some rumblings going around that we have some underclassmen that are pretty upset with the fact they haven't got much playing time. And one in particular, Seth Harden. He was a defensive end we brought in. He was an 83 overall. You don't see him play a whole lot, and that's why he's pretty frustrated. He is expected to be a starter next year because Justice Boone is a senior, but we do have a pretty solid defensive end committed in our class right now. We don't know that he'll sign with us. Like I said, every commit I show is a soft signing, so we might end up losing him still, but we know Seth Harden's not happy with the fact that we're recruiting another high-end defensive end, and right there you've seen him on the field, number 13. So that could be an interesting situation for these Gators. And then there's also talk that the number 1 quarterback recruit in the nation, Jordan O'Neal's pretty upset with the fact that he ended up being 3rd string and he is behind another freshman. He really felt like he deserved to be the backup, and you know what? With these top stars, I'm not that surprised. Coach KJ was quoted as saying when asked in the media about his possibility of transfer that, hey, he would be our backup if he performed well enough and he was consistent enough on the field and in the classroom. So, you know, that kind of tells you that there's some issues going on behind the scenes there, so I won't be shocked to see him go. As we see Rashad Johnson pick off A.J. Duffy there and take it out to the 35-yard line, that's another player we need to talk about. And for him, it's not about a transfer. There's news that he may decide to declare and go to the NFL draft. He's been having himself a really, really nice season. So he's opened the door to possibly going pro. And that also brings us to wide receiver Emmanuel Henderson. He's had a fantastic season, and reports are out there that, you know what, there's not a good reason for him to really stay in college. He's having a great year, and he might just as well go ahead and declare for the NFL draft. We'll see if that one ends up happening. I feel like it'd be a little bit of a shock, because I think next year, being the far away our best receiver would maybe help him out and raise his draft stock, and he could have a really good season, but I don't know. Now that we're back on defense, I'm going to talk about Miguel Mitchell. He's another underclassman that is in talks to possibly declare. He did send out information to try to get feedback from the NFL draft, and from what I understand, he got pretty good feedback. So he's seriously considering going pro as well. So that would mean if both of our safeties go pro, we'll have 2 new starters at safety in the secondary, and I don't think we currently have the depth for that. So that could be a tough blow to this Gators defense next season. As far as the rest of the defense goes, really the only other player we're on watch for is Chris McClellan, number 7, our stud defensive tackle. He has had a really good season, and he is thought highly of in draft circles. He looks like he's a good athlete. He can make plays in both the run and pass game, so he's also getting some feedback, and we may lose Chris McClellan to the NFL draft. Now, looking at our offense, the last final huge piece that I have not talked about that we may end up losing to the NFL is quarterback Jack Garola. Now, everybody's probably going to say, well, he didn't really have a good year. He's been inconsistent both years we've been here, but the problem is this is an extremely weak quarterback draft class. So if Jack Garola goes pro, he will be one of the top prospects in this entire class, which means he has a strong reason to consider going pro. Now, do I believe as a member of the media that he should return to school? I do. I think the turnovers are a big problem, but ultimately at the end of the day, if you listen to Coach KJ speak in pressers, he's kind of the mindset that like you do best by your players, and he wants his players to go pro. And, I think he wants to see Jack Garola go pro because, one, it looks good for Coach KJ. He'll have a quarterback drafted high in the first round, likely. And it's good for Jack Garola because he'll be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in this class. He might even be the number 1 quarterback in this class. So that means great things for his paycheck and future earnings as well. Could it mean he'll struggle in the future? Of course. Look at Daniel Jones. He was the top quarterback in his draft class, and honestly, he wasn't cut from that cloth, and I'm a little worried that that could be the career path of Jack Garola if he does decide to go pro. But when the only quarterback in the class that has committed to going is a quarterback out of UConn, and right now he's considered the top quarterback in the class, you know what? You might be better to go pro because at least this year there's less competition. Next year, it's going to be a little tougher to be that top quarterback. So I understand if Jack Garola goes pro, we have to wait and see. He put in paperwork. He wants to see what the NFL thinks and make sure that they feel the same way that he does about his chances at going early in this draft. So we're on watch. Dana Garcia would likely be our starting quarterback next season. So he's a little bit on watch too because there's some reports that he didn't play a whole lot, but in relief he played okay and he has a good overall. That some schools are interested maybe trying to bring him in as well, and there's a possible transfer portal opportunity there with us working to get some of the top quarterbacks in the nation to commit to the Gators. Kind of has him on a little bit of uneasy terms with us. So there's a possibility we could lose our number 1, 2, and 3 quarterback this offseason. You'll have to stay tuned and see if that happens. Coach KJ has said he's working hard to make sure he keeps the guys on the team that he thinks belong here. That means, hey, if he thinks you belong in the NFL, he's not going to try to keep you. He wants you to go pro. But that also means if he thinks you're not a fit for his program, he's not going to try to keep you. See you later. No reason to keep you. But if he thinks you're the right fit for the future of this program, he's going to work his tail off to keep you in Gainesville as a Florida Gator. We'll have to see what he can do. But that's our news for now. I'll try to keep you up to date. We'll have to see if we can maintain any of these players that want to transfer or go pro. We'll find out later on in the offseason. This game's winding down with the Florida Gators absolutely dominating the Seminoles 52-17. There's just 2 minutes left in this one, so we should be able to walk out of here pretty quickly as we're playing backups. Now, there is one other thing I did want to add that I forgot to add with that commentary. Any one of our juniors that goes pro, you will see in our Raiders franchise that I'm starting to get uploaded a little bit more consistently. They will be the prospects in our draft classes, and that's how this is going to work. You're going to see these guys finish out their NFL career, so if you want to follow along, start following along with the Raiders franchise. We're working our way through the first season, and I'm going to start showing these guys off in the draft class here pretty soon. So I'm excited to see how some of their careers finish out, and maybe they can end up in Channel Hall of Fame, which is something I want to do. And in the future, it will include both seniors and juniors, but just for this year, only the juniors are created players. I don't want to use any real-life players in the draft class, and that includes Arch Manning, who is in this file. I likely will not include him in the Madden franchise series when he goes pro. But this one's over. Florida dominated Florida State, which you love to see in our annual Sunshine matchup. I think that Florida's clearly the better team. Florida State has a long way to go, and I think Coach KJ should be able to control this rivalry for a few years. Looking at our stats, Jack Garola had a pretty good day. He threw a touchdown and an interception. He had 275 yards. He hit 60% of his passes. And Dana Garcia came in. He did throw a pick. He went 3 of 6, but it was all in relief. He didn't do anything too crazy. Looking at through the air, Harrison Walsh III had a fantastic day. He caught 5 for 118 and a touchdown. That's a pretty impressive stat line, and we're going to miss him next season, as this season is really winding down, so it's kind of sad to know that a lot of these seniors are going to be gone from our file soon and never heard from again, and that's kind of rough when you think about it. Giovanni Peterson is somebody that we brought in. He was one of the top recruits when I first took this job at Florida. He had 2 sacks in this game. For some reason, he hasn't developed well at all, but man, he was really good today, and I hope he can build on that in the offseason and get some momentum to get his career back on track. Looking at the Seminoles, really, their stats are not all that impressive. We crushed them. It wasn't a matchup that showed any real competitive balance, so it's not shocking that we dominated them, but man, it's still weird to see a rivalry matchup end in such a big blowout. But hey, it is what it is. We'll take it. BJ Bradley King caught 3 for 22 against us. He's a transfer from the Florida Gators, so you know anytime we play the Seminoles, we're going to track how he does, and we plan on tracking his career and see if he can make it pro. I'm still a little salty that he left us. He would have been our number 2, maybe our number 3 tight end this season, but he would have been important for us going forward into the future. Now let's take a look at our Heisman standings. Kyle McCord remains at number 1, followed by CJ Donaldson, Jam Miller, Aaron Dumas, and then quarterback Jalen Milroe of Alabama comes in at number 5. It's crazy to me that Bama has 2 players in the top 5, and they've had pretty much 2 in the top 5 all season long, whether it was Devontae Coleman or Jalen Milroe. Now let's take a look at our CFP rankings. It's Ohio State, Penn State, Oklahoma State, and Alabama in your top 4. That's a weird setup. We're going to have to see how that ends up working itself out. Luckily, we have conference championship games coming up. That'll help clear it up a little bit, and I'll adjust the order if I have to. I'm just glad to see Mid-Tennessee State lost. This is our final season of the 14 playoff, and I just didn't think they belonged there. In a 12-team playoff like what we're going to do next year, I'm okay with that. I'm very happy to see a group of 5 team make it, but they're horrible. So with just a 14 playoff, they're going to get blown out in the first round, and that's it. That's all. It's a free win for the number 1 or number 2 seed or 3 seed, whomever they face. I just think that it would have been doing a disservice to the college football playoff in the final year of the 14 playoff to have them make it in, so I'm glad to see they lost. Next up, you're going to see our recruiting episode. It's going to be early signing day, and we're going to get some pen to paper for players that we've been recruiting, and you'll see if they actually chose the Florida Gators or not. So that'll be a pretty exciting episode, and then you're also going to get to see some awards in that episode as well. So this is LDJ11. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'm out.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going